Everything you need is already inside of you. The world would not be what it is without you. When we begin to create change within us, we begin to create change in the world around us. Your journey to becoming your best self as the whole person starts right now.
Hello and welcome to the Become Your Best podcast and webinar series. I'm Lauren Sweeney, the Vice President here at Rise Up For You, and I'm your host. Today's guest comes across the globe to us from Germany. He is an incredible human being and one I know you're going to get a lot from. We're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about gratitude. We're going to talk about all of the things that help us as leaders and entrepreneurs. Tobi was actually born in Nigeria, and he grew up with a curious mind. I think curiosity is important, and a passion for learning and personal development, probably like us that are here on this show. After completing his high school education in Nigeria, he moved to Germany, where he still lives now, to study electrical engineering and information technology. After he earned his bachelor's and his master's, he worked to become an engineer in the energy and sustainability industry that he's still in today. His passion for self-improvement, personal development, and having deep, soulful conversations allowed him to meet people of various walks of life. And today he's the host of his very own Mere Talk podcast that we'll talk about later. It's a platform to provide thought and share knowledge with everyone who wants to learn and grow. Today, we are excited to have an engineer, a thought leader, and an incredible human being. Tobi, welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you so much, Karen, for the wonderful introduction. I'm so like honored to be here, and I'm excited to be speaking with everyone on this platform. Thank you so much for having me. I feel so delighted right now to just be speaking with you and to get down into having a wonderful, soulful conversation with you. Also, thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So you're a very dynamic human being. Most individuals that host a Mere Talk podcast and want to talk about personal and professional development do not also have a secret life as an engineer. That's not usually the current dichotomy. So
Yeah.
was that an interesting transition for you, or do you feel split, or how do you kind of bridge those two parts of yourself, that very heavily logic engineering part and just an incredible human being that loves to connect to others?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. I see us as human beings as as a body of different aspects of life, basically. So I see myself as that engineer, like my career, like this professional logical person, for example. But I also see myself as someone who has to grow in some aspects, in the aspect of finance, for example, in the aspect of relationships, spirituality, also in the aspect of just social relationships with other people around me, myself. So I see us as human beings. We are these beautiful, complex beings that have different aspects to them. So for me, it's not like a struggle or a splitting between. It's just like everything I do sums up to be who I am. I am who I am. I am the 100 things, the 1,000 things I am doing, and everything that every little part of me, every little aspect, like the engineering career that you made mention of, for example, the Mirror Talk podcast, and every other venture that I am, busy with right now, sums up comes up together to form the Tobi Ojekunle that I am, basically. Yeah.
Yes. And I think it's such a good reminder for those listening and watching us is that we are a whole person. And so
Mhm.
we all have dynamics in us. We all have masculine and feminine energies, right? We all have
Yes.
different strengths that we can pull on. And I think we're really taught in our societies to be linear, right? That,
Mhm.
you're just this. And
Yeah.
no, I'm not. I can be an engineer and I can be a thought leader. I can be a leader and an entrepreneur and I can be an incredible mom or etc. We don't have to be defined to just one role because
Mm.
we're an expansive human being.
Exactly. Yes. And thank you so much for mentioning that, like, being linear, because the society taught us to be okay. For example, in my own case, like came to Germany all the way from Nigeria to study electrical engineering and information technology, and I thought to myself, yes, this is my purpose. I was so passionate about being an engineer. I'm so passionate about it upwards now, and I was like, okay. So I studied it in my bachelor's, my master's, and I believed, okay, I'm just going to be on this line, on this lane, basically, be an engineer, nothing else. I'm fulfilled with that already. But then my mindset changed in some ways because I started feeling that emptiness in other aspects of my life. I became curious and hungry to develop other aspects of my life. I know that in my career I could do well, I could, function properly, submit to those tasks, meet those deadlines and be wonderful. But other aspects of my life was suffering. I was feeling empty and dark in every other aspect of my life. So I thought to myself, no, I can't be just one person, just that to be Ojekunle, the engineer. I also have to develop myself in the area of love, in the area of relationship, in the area of just social contact with other people, in the area of, just grooming myself up in other aspects of life, apart from just, being just one person focusing on just one direction. As a personal person, as different facets, different aspects that makes me, complete actually.
Yes, I love that. We talk about it at Rise Up For You, the 6 pillars,
Yeah.
that we have our career, which is pretty much what society tells us to focus on, but we have our health, we have our romance, we have our people intelligence, our self-worth. That's exactly what you're sharing, is that you knew I'm studying engineering and I'm an engineer now, and that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Mm.
However, there's a piece of me missing, and yet really I'm a whole person. So let me
Yeah.
experience all the dimensions of myself, and then I can make an impact.
Yeah.
Where do you see that most people have a hard time? Meaning, you were able to move countries,
Mm.
move cultures, and thrive.
Mm.
Also, get a degree, a master's degree in a difficult genre,
Mm.
engineering. Where do
Yeah.
you see that a lot of people around you maybe weren't able to be as adaptable or resilient?
Yeah, I mean, the challenge a lot of us have, though, that I've noticed so far in life is we have this difficulty or challenge of leaving our comfort zones, basically. Like, we for example, I come from Nigeria, and I come from a culture and society that, I'm used to everything. I could find my way around. I'd have to learn a new language. That was so comfortable for me. But leaving that comfort zone, moving to a new country to learn a new language, for example, taking up challenges to overcome difficulties and circumstances of life could be very challenging for a lot of people. And it's still challenging for a lot of people around me because I'm growing up to this moment. I have people around me that gave up in the task of becoming an engineer. They went on to do something else because the course or the study became difficult at some point. So that's that ability to stay persistent, to stay consistent, and also just leave your comfort zone is a big challenge I myself had to overcome, and I find it also common among people around me too in the journey of life so far.
Yeah, I love that. Being able to get outside of our own comfort zones, because
Mhm.
I it's not really that comfortable. We are
That's true.
familiar. I think we should change the name of it, Toby. Maybe we should, I don't
Yeah.
know who we write to. It's not really our comfort zone. I think it's our
Mm.
familiar zone.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense. Yes.
familiar is, I mean, I love to sleep in. I like, a day off, but I don't think I'd want that every day for a
Mhm.
whole year. Like, I would get bored. So
That's true.
this idea that it's comfortable equates in our mind that it's good. It's comfortable and it's
Mm.
safe and it's good. Yet it's really not that enjoyable long term. We start to kind of feel like we've lost some of ourselves.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, you're very right. I mean, I totally agree with you too. I don't know who writes who are going to make a petition to change it from comfort zone to familiar zone or safe zone, for example. Some people just, I mean, I see some people, we as or I myself too, I just feel like, yeah, I just want to take things easy, basically. I just want to, like you said, sleep in and wake up and maybe watch Netflix the whole day, for example, and just chill. But then with time, as you said, I can totally relate to that. Like for me, with time, I become so bored, so devastated that I am doing that, with my time, basically. So it's not like, yeah, you're right. It's not like a comfort zone. It's mostly like being safe and trying to keep yourself in a corner so that you won't get hurt, you won't get disappointed, you won't get frustrated by taking chances on life, basically. So yeah, you're totally right. But I just want to encourage everyone out there to um you know just give it a trial. Just let's step by step, baby step. Wake up early. Don't sleep in when you don't have to. When you're not feeling sick, just rise up, and like your the name of this platform, rise up for you. Rise up for you. Rise up for you. Actually, every morning.
Yes,
Yeah.
Toby.
You have to rise up for you every morning. I know that I'm not waking up early because I just want to get to work and make money or go to classes just to get my degree. I'm rising up for myself to become a better person every day of my own life. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think that if you're listening and you are saying, yes, okay, I hear you, Lauren and Toby. However, it feels uncomfortable.
Mm.
I think we don't need to shift 360 degrees today.
Yeah.
But what if we shifted 10%? What
Mm.
would a 10% shift in my self-worth, my self-talk look like? What would a 10% shift in having better relationships, romantic or just with people?
Mm.
What would a little shift? Because if we do 10% every day, I
Yeah,
mean, we're going to be over 300% by the end of the month.
that's
What would you
true.
say to that?
Yes, I mean, I totally agree to that. I was reading a book a while back, which also helped me in my journey of life. It's called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It didn't ask me to promote this book, but I read it and I was touched by it. I know its definition for the compound effect is that you get a huge a huge reward from making small smart decisions every day. And just like you said now, Lauren, you said 10%, changing 10% or 10 degree shifts every day. Same thing as when a plane flies. If it's changes its course by just 3%, it's going to land somewhere else entirely. And that's the same way. Taking that small, smart decision every day for our lives will lead us to a point in life where we're going to be far better than we were without taking any chance on life. Actually, so I believe it's very important for us to not just take a huge step or just take a huge leap, for example, but make it very little, as little as possible. And before you know it, you are somewhere entirely different, and you would think to yourself, "Wow, thank you so much for." You be thanking yourself actually. Thank you so much for waking up 1 minute earlier every day. Imagine if you wake up 8:30 every morning, and your goal is to wake up by 8 in the morning. After 30 days, if you wake up 1 minute earlier, after 3 days you'll be at 8 o'clock. But if you don't take that chance of waking up 1 minute earlier every day for the next 30 days, you will still be waking up 8 o'clock. Maybe you will end up waking up by 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning. Actually, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Just that little shift can make
yeah,
such a big difference and it doesn't feel as hard.
that's
One
true.
thing I can do if I want to work out tomorrow morning, put my workout clothes, maybe even sleep in my workout clothes, but put them out like at the foot of my bed. What
Yeah.
are things we can do so we can make it easier and we do start to feel better. We
Mm,
do. And now I also want to preface it that if you are a recovering people pleaser or
mm.
workaholic, which I have definitely
I
been in
I
stages
myself
of,
too. Yeah.
then you need to rest. You do not need
Mm.
to wake up earlier. You need to take a rest. Rest is
Yeah.
productive. So I
Yeah.
think it's both, right? So if we
It's
are
true.
feeling like really that we just need to move, where can I
Mm,
move 10 degrees like we are talking about? And
mm,
alternatively, if you feel like I need to discipline myself to rest, which I've been working on, then do that. But whatever growth
yeah.
looks like for us so that we can feel great, because we talk a lot about emotional intelligence at our company. And
Mm,
really, that self awareness and self management, then I have more capacity to give. Then I have more
yeah.
capacity to show up and coach and train and be on the podcast.
Yeah.
How do you manage that for yourself as well? Because you're working as an engineer in corporate America or corporate Germany. Do they call it
Yeah.
that?
Something like that. Yeah.
Right. And then
Mm,
you're also, pouring into people with your Mere Talk podcast. How do
yeah.
you balance then contributing to yourself?
Yeah, I mean that's a very big challenge actually. But one thing that's been helping me so far, a practical tool that's been helping me so far is time management. Basically, like I have my calendar and I try to organize my calendar, prioritize my tasks every day, and every time I wake up, anytime I rise up for myself every morning, I have it in mind that okay. From this, I always block time on my calendar. For example, say from this time to this time, I'm going to, for example, have just a quiet time to meditate so I could start my day properly, for example. Then I'm going to work out and get ready for work, for example. Then I have a time block for working as an engineer every day. Then also, I always tell myself, I always program the time to rest so I could get a little bit of energy, understand, to start the second phase of my day, which is the podcasting and the whole interviews, maybe editing or having meetings, basically. So I worked a little bit on. I'm still working on it actually, on my time management, blocking up of time. That time for rest, time for work, time for workouts. As in, because as we said earlier, we are a body of different aspects. We have to ensure that we have our health intact, our finance intact, our love, our romance intact. So I try to organize my time in a way that I could accommodate all of this in my calendar from time to time. Some days more than the other. Some days I take breaks off, like you said, because we have to rest also. And some days, I do more and push myself a little bit further. And some days I just relax and ensure that I regain back my energy.
I love that. That takes a lot of self-awareness in knowing
Mm,
today's a day I need to rest. Today's a day I'm going to pour into people. Today is a day I need to schedule a key meeting or a key something that
mm,
will move me forward. I also
yeah.
like that you brought up the calendar of we're big fans of that as well. Scheduling in my workouts, scheduling in my
Mm,
meditation time, scheduling in my
mm,
date night with my husband, like having the
yeah.
things scheduled so that I really do make time for the things that are important to me and I don't
Yeah.
just let work or what have you take over.
Yes, that's very important because sometimes we just get into autopilot, like just walk. I just have to wake up myself. Like you made mention of self-awareness. Sometimes I really have to pinch myself and say, "Oh, Toby, you are on autopilot right now. Like you're just walking. Like you're just in this thing, I think at a stretch. I have to just pinch myself and say, no, 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 come out of it. I mean, you have to do this and do that. Sometimes I just have to even take a break and just clean up the apartment, for example, just ensure that I am in a different space. Actually, I'm taking a break off, just walk, and that way I'm able to maybe rethink properly. I'm able to even look at the things I've done on autopilot and notice the mistakes I've been making because I'm just working. And when one is on autopilot, at a point you might start losing your self-awareness and you might start losing that touch to the work you are doing. And if one continues that way, one could get frustrated. Actually, one could get overwhelmed quickly with the work. So it's very important to have that date night with your husband, for example, like you said, and just have a time to drink coffee with your friends also, and have a time to just relax also and just regain back your energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell us how we can find you and more about the Mere Talk podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes. So you can find me on www.mirtalkpodcast.com. There you have all the links to our social media platforms. So this Mirror Talk podcast is a podcast platform I started in 2020. Before that, way before that, like I was explaining a little bit earlier, I was just an engineer, and I just had this passion to have soulful conversations, have connections with people from every walk of life, in order to make myself a much more better person, basically, to grow personally, to grow in my finance, to grow in just every area of my life. So I thought to myself, okay, is it just okay for me to get coaches to discuss about this with, or won't it be also good for me to impact other people's life with the lesson that I'm also learning? And that's where the idea of this podcast came out from. I'm the kind of person who enjoys, having conversations with people, and also love impacting people's life with this. And I have a lot of people that ask me questions. So I thought, okay, with the Mirror Talk podcast, I'll be able to provide these soulful conversations. I will learn from them first of all, and then share this lesson with everyone that's going to listen to it. And we cover a lot of areas. We cover finance, we cover relationships, we cover spirituality, we cover love, we cover and we just have a lot of guests from different walks of life who have gone through different life experiences, different stories to share, and they give us tips, insights, give us ideas on how to bounce back, from nothing and become a good person, or even to find yourself and to work on different aspects of your life. It's just
I
has
love
been a
it.
wonderful journey so far. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's meretalkpodcast.com. And you can find out. Well, Toby, we love to ask a final question, and that is what does rise up for you mean to you?
Yes. So rise up for me means it means getting up from your bed every day, being grateful that you are alive, and making the best use of your time to move forward in life, to become that person that you are supposed to become, that person that you deserve to become every day of your life.
Yes, I love it. Well, thank you for rising up for you and for being here on our podcast today. It was fantastic.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. That's awesome.
Absolutely. What a great conversation. Thank you for listening or watching us live on our Facebook page. It's been a pleasure to have this conversation. And I wanted to let you know that we now have coaching as low as $149 a month. You can absolutely get more information on our website, riseupforyou.com, or text the word power to 949 416 0671. That's power to 949 416 0671. Until the next time, rise up for you.